Gotta do that,
Here we
right?
go.
Awesome.
We're live.
Awesome, guys. Hey, everybody. We're live here. Another episode of Whiskey Thursday. Tonight, we got an exciting guest with us. Brad Van de Walle here from Remax, Greater YYC Group out of Calgary, Alberta. And Brad's actually been a really good client for a number of years and agreed to come on the show tonight, talk about all kinds of things, lead generation, what's working, what's not working, ISA teams, all that good stuff. And we're just really excited to, finally get him here on the show tonight. And I think we're gonna have a good time here. Brad loves to party. We've got some drinks. Yeah, we know that from all the pictures. We gotta
Follow me on Facebook. I'm not shy.
Yeah, so it should be a good show. So if you're watching, what do we normally say here, Matt? Watch if you're watching live, hashtag live.
Hashtag
right?
live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag the replay.
Awesome. So Matt's gonna go ahead, spam everybody to get them on the show here. And but Brad, thanks you so much for taking some time. You've been crazy busy, so we really appreciate you coming on the show tonight and talking to us and telling everybody how it is and what it's like on the other side.
I will fucking tell you exactly how it is. Let me pour a drink and let me get my vocal cords ready for how I'm gonna give
yeah, because it's, typically on this show we usually have marketers that are working with agents, and we're talking about sort of what they're doing. But it's not very often where we get agents or real estate agents that are actually in it. And, you've been for years generating leads. You've been working with a number of different marketers, agencies, other lead gen sources, and so on. And so it's a completely different perspective here tonight in terms of, what you're seeing that's working and what's not actually working, right? Because sometimes, when we're talking to the marketers, it's, this is working because it's worked for one or two clients.
Sure.
In this case here, you're generating thousands of leads a month. I think, over the probably the past 4 or 5 years, I'm sure you've done over 100,000 leads. So, I mean, clearly you've seen what's been working, what's not working, right? And plus, on top of it, being from Calgary, you're in a tough market. The past couple of years for you guys has been a really tough market.
Couple of years. Fuck, 2014. That's 7 years. Couple of years. Jesus. I've been eating shit solid since 2014. But my years keep getting better and better. It's just how you adapt to the market, right?
Yeah. Right. And the other thing too is you've worked actually in a number of different markets. So you've worked in really good markets, and you've been in a really shitty market for the past little while. And the other side of it too is you're also what's really cool is that it's not just residential. You do everything from residential to some commercial, a lot of new construction stuff. You've got a lot of infill stuff going on. So you've got a really good broad range of experience and knowledge and sort of pretty much everything that we can possibly do as marketers and agency owners. You and I have worked a lot on new construction stuff. I think we've done really well over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of that stuff and what's been working and so on. And you've had a record month. I think you've broke some records with some of the builders out there. You've done quite well. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's super exciting. That's great. What ended up happening with one of the builders? Yeah, so
we listened to different stuff. Like I don't preach to know everything. I love the fact that, personal growth is a big thing of mine. At times I'm a big fan of Grant Cardone, started taking some of his training. And then, something that really resonated with me, he said, create your own economy. Like Calgary's economy is fucking shit. Like it's been that way for a while, but the last 8 months, it's been really good. So, when we were trying to sell this condo building, we had a choice. So we had a Minto project. There was 188 units. It's like, okay, my business partner, Mark, was the main guy behind it. We came up with this concept. We're like, okay, if we don't sell this thing, it's going to shut down. There was maybe 150 new condo sales in Calgary year to date at that time. So we came up with a concept and we decided to sell to Toronto investors. So we came up with the whole package and did everything. And then, we went out, we marketed it, we did everything. In 3 weeks, we sold 165 units, all to Toronto investors that invested in Calgary. And that's the trend, is now a lot of people are starting to come to Calgary. So we literally did something that nobody had ever done in the history of Alberta, is we sold out a building in 3 weeks. Even when the market was insane, like we're not a Toronto, and even Toronto stuff still doesn't sell in 3 weeks. Like the higher end stuff might take a little longer, but we literally sold out a whole freaking building in 3 weeks all to Toronto. So we flew to Toronto, had this concept, pitch it to realtors, and it ended up working. So, I know you did some marketing for me, for some leads for investors for that too. And it was just big. Like you can sit here and either complain about how everything is, or you can adapt and change and create your own economy. And then that's essentially what we did. We did something nobody's ever done before. And it's something that's probably one of the most proud things that I've been a part of in my career is we did something nobody's done. So it's pretty cool when nobody's done that, right?
Yeah,
like I said,
you actually broke a record with the builders, right?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
for sure.
you essentially sold out an entire building.
That's correct.
How big
weeks.
are these buildings?
That one was 188 units. We had 20 pre-sold, so we sold 166. Now, the thing is, if you compare to Toronto, like Toronto has 600 units, like all that stuff, they sell. Their economy's been going crazy and keeps going up. So people are buying based on the fact it's just going to appreciate. We've been depreciating for 7 years. So try to sell at a fucking building whenever every time it keeps going down. Now, we have stabilized, which is why we're comfortable doing it to investors, is because now we're starting to go up. So we're at the bottom going up now, which is the best time to invest, obviously. Yeah. So when we went and did this, and this building's it's 4 years out. So it was a huge thing. A lot of work went into it. A big shout to Mark Verzile, who really head fronted this whole thing. And we kind of came up with a concept and he executed. So that was big. Like that was massive. We get phone calls all the time. How'd you guys do this? What's going on? So it's starting to spread out, but it's also led to other opportunities. Now we have other builders being like, can you sell at my building? Can you sell at my building? So, it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool concept.
Yeah. And from that, like you said, you're getting, so not only did you create your own economy, right? I mean, essentially, but now you're getting, other builders coming to you, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, you're landing, but you're actually going out searching for them too, right? I mean, one of the most recent ones that you kind of acquired as a client, you went out looking for that one.
Yeah, the one that we did last night.
Yeah. Well, sorry, the new one that's coming up, right?
Honestly, dude, I'm not trying to be that guy. There's so much. I literally don't know what you're talking about right now.
Like starts with a V.
Oh, yeah. Bestie. Yes. Sorry. Because we took on Trico. So Trico's a big developer in Calgary. So I got them through my business partner, Eric. Eric Drinkwater came on. So, our team's just expanded. And because we offer full service and everything, like now we can go to builders and it's like, do you want some jerk that's just going to put on MLS, or do you want, we were the #1 team at the #1 RE/MAX office in the whole world. You know what? Do we sell more than any RE/MAX agent? No, but it's still cool to say that. You know what I mean? Like we're the #1 RE/MAX office in the world. We're the #1 team. Can't hurt for marketing. So when we use that, we've gone out, we got Trico, who's big. They do like 500 units. We got Vesta's doing 500 units. Like, because we did all the stuff and we're sure, through our successes, we just keep getting wins and wins. And it's been years of hard work. It's not like this is an overnight success, just like Amazon. People are like, oh, they all of a sudden, it's like, no, a guy started 30 years ago selling books in his garage.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an overnight success. So
how long have you been selling real estate?
11 years.
Okay.
So it's been a little while, and it's been a lot of lead gen. Like there's not an agent probably in the city that still sits down and does the volume that I did, still makes as many calls. Like I still make 2 to 4 hours of calls every day. And they're like, how do you sell so many? Well, my thumb's not up my ass waiting for the phone to ring. You got to go out and get it. So that's a big thing. And I think that when we talk about the lead gen is I'm going to compare, we're doing 2 different things, Sean, that we've talked about, with the first time home buyer seminars that we're doing. So you and I are going to be, we're taking that to the next level. We're talking about doing that. And I'm going to talk about how I'm doing it with a mortgage broker, and the mortgage broker is doing it with an Edmonton realtor and the differences. So we'll dive into that a little bit later. And it just shows it's all about the follow-up.
And it's a good point they make too, right? Because we've talked about this a lot on this show. I mean, follow-up is key, right? And it's amazing to see that, working with multiple real estate agents, especially working with agents in the same markets where you see one agent crushing it and the next agent's not, right? And we've seen this before where it's like, I've worked with agents that are booking appointments and they're closing deals, and we're running these similar campaigns in the exact same markets, and the next agent can't, essentially they're blaming the leads, right? But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the leads. It really is the follow-up.
It's all in the follow-up. Everything's in the follow-up.
But it's
And
not
I'm
just the follow-up, right? It's the skill set.
For sure. And if you hear me on the phone, like I don't toot my horn very often. I'm really loud, but I'm actually a fairly humble individual despite everything. But I am a killer on the phone. And one of my agents was listening to me make calls right now, and it's just how much data I get from people because I'm trying this new company out for ISA stuff. And then I have this list of stuff and I'm like, yeah, okay, bullshit. And I literally dig more into what he's doing. And he's like, I just want you to send me the market evaluation. I want you to send me an email. Then by the end of the conversation, he's telling me he's not moving until 2022. He just wants to sign up. Like this is all the stuff he's done. So basically, whenever you're making phone calls, like there's probably not an objection that I haven't heard. So like to catch me off my feet is almost impossible when it comes to real estate because I'll have an answer for absolutely everything. And if I don't, frankly, I make it up and make them think that it's real. I'm not going to sit there and lie and say like it's a stretch, but you got to be faster on your feet because people try to throw you under the bus with a lot of things. And it's so much in the follow-up. It's so much in the skills, but it's the objection handling. But it literally, there's probably like, if you can learn 10 objection handlers for buyers and 10 for sellers, that's 85 to 90% of your objections. So if you can just really learn really good about 20, the rest you can just fumble fuck your way through once you're skilled enough. But listening to my agents talk on the phone, it's embarrassing. Like I can't train this to them. It's because they don't make enough calls to learn it. So you have to sit there. It's an art form. Like you got to keep calling and fuck up, make notes and be like, hey, what was my objection? How do I handle that? I've been trained by Tom Ferry. I've been trained by many different people to come in. So it's not like I just learned this on my own. I have this skill set that I've acquired over 9 years or 8 years of lead gen. And at first I was terrible, but now it's just, when you do it every single day, it's like, muscles, not that I have any, but it's like that muscle that you just create and you keep going over and over again. And it's an integral part of your success.
So that's interesting. So two things. One of them, for like new agents that are getting, especially, so internet leads are really tough, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
There's no doubt about it, right? You and I have worked on this for a long time. And internet leads are really tough. Like for new agents that are kind of getting into this, or even marketers that are working with, newer agents, like what is it that they need to do in order to, try to convert these leads?
Pay for our program when it's done in 30 days. You want the honest truth.
in terms of scripts, right? Like what is it that they can do? Like, is it just more practice? Is it just more phone calls? Is it like join a coaching program? What
absolutely join a coaching program that works for you, and even download scripts. Like a lot of people like scripts are stupid. Are they stupid? Like, no, you're stupid for not doing them is the problem, because it's a learned skill. It's uncomfortable at first. Like literally, I could sit here through a phone call and read a script because I'm so comfortable on the phone, and you would never know I'm reading it. Like even if you just gave me one right now, I would just read off of it, take 10 seconds, read a script that you wanted to do, and it's that. Like one of the guys that came in who's doing first-time homebuyer seminars, but he's doing them in Edmonton. So he asked me, he's like, hey man, I actually offered. I was like, I'll reach out, I'll train you and show you what I did. So I told him, like, let's role play. I said, I don't even know what you're going to say. I said, let's role play. And I role played with him. And seriously, our role play was so unique because I was asked, like, he was the seller. I was the agent trying to get the listing. And he was fumble fucking his words because he didn't know how to respond to my questions. It's like, dude, there's no, like, that's how not good he was on the phone. It's like, you can do anything you want. I said, say any line, anything. And I would just stump him. And he's like, holy shit. He's like, you have done this a lot. Like he couldn't just have a normal conversation about real estate and he's a realtor. Like I would just stump him. But the problem is that he's still like, after it, he texted me. He's like, dude, I am so fired up. I want you to train me every single week. I'm like, you know what, man? No problem. I'll give you 30 minutes at this time. The next week he follows up with me. He's like, hey man, I have something. I haven't heard from the guy since. Like that's the common thing with realtors is that you have a good day or you have a good month or somebody pumps you up and then you just lose traction. And he sold like, I don't think they've sold any. And they've been doing it at the same time. And I think I've sold 15 from the same thing that he sold none. We're getting the same amount of leads. My follow-up is just better and so is my scripting. So it's so, It's so huge, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating as a realtor. Like, I'm getting rattled. If I had this bottle of scotch, the shit I'd be saying right now about my team, like, it's challenging. It's really challenging, man.
It's okay. You can say what you want. I don't think any of your team members are inside this group.
They know. Trust me. Last meeting on Tuesday, they know. I've said it.
So tell us,
sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Tell us a little bit about your team. How big is your team? What's the structure look like? You know, what's the breakdown?
So like so I have a team. I don't even know how many agents I have. Not very many. I think it's 8 or 9. Some do stuff, some don't. You know, I have 2 assistants. You know, it's one of those things where, like, I think I run the team the right way. Like, in my opinion, we do things a little bit differently. Like, we're family. We call each other out. Like, we have a great culture. I don't mean call each other out like really bad, but in our team meetings, it's like, hey, how can I help you? You know, there's an accountability piece. There's a point system every week. There's teams. So over time of running a team, I was terrible as a leader. And now I've just evolved to be, in my opinion, this is the best leader that I've been, and my team would give the same feedback. You know, I have veteran agents that are 17 years in the business on the team. One guy just joined. He's been a realtor for 17 years, and he saw so much value on the team that, you know, he joined it, and he said, hey, look, I'm falling behind. I'm like, you're the asshole that's going to come and take all my accounts, so I might as well just join you, is basically what he said. And then Shane, the new Vesta, was the same thing. Those guys have been realtors for 6-7 years longer than I have. And he's like, I don't even call agents. I don't even call leads. I don't do anything. And it's absolutely clueless. So if you're not trying to constantly evolve and adapt, you're going to be left behind. So I got vast different parts of the team, agents with lots of experience, agents that don't sell a lot. Our volume's decent. Like last year, I think we did, I don't know, 370 maybe, but 160 of those were condos. So I think we did 200 resales. So it's pretty good. Like, I love the dynamic of my team, but I'm like the captain of the team, and I just try to rip everybody to try to get them going if I can.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the, you know, one of the things, something that's really interesting. So, you know, Matt and I have always kind of come up to this conclusion, which is the leads don't suck. The agents typically suck,
Sure.
right? However, we've done enough lead gen with you where you and I have had enough conversations where you've called me. It's like, Shane, your leads suck.
Totally.
And that's happened, right? I mean, and so let's talk a little bit about that, because,
Sure.
You know, I think, you know, having you, we can be a little bit more honest tonight. And, you know, and the agency owners and marketers like to think that, you know, their leads are good leads and so on. But in your case, there have been times where, you know, we've generated enough leads with you that, and I think we can trust your perception about the leads that are being generated, because you are doing the follow-ups, you are doing all the work. You know, what's sort of been your experience over the sort of the past 5 years in terms of what's been working, what's not been working? And you know, what have you done to sort of find the things that have been working?
I think that's, you know, kind of twofold. Is I'm not going to name companies tonight because I'll just be well, who knows? We'll see how much more I have. But yeah. But you go in, you know, we had a company that we talked about briefly on here, and they, you know, they preached of these leads, and they're great. They're the worst leads I'd ever had. Like, you know me, Shane, like I don't only use you. I want to try to find different dynamics to add fuel to the fire. And then when it works, just crank it up and hire more agents and kind of get that settled. But I think for me, the stuff that's worked is really recently that you and I have done. You pay way more for the lead. A lot of people just want to generate like copious amounts of leads, but agents can't do the proper follow-up. Like you're trying to find, if you get 100 leads, if you're lucky, you're trying to find 3. And that takes a shit ton. And then if they get another 100 the next month, and another 100 the next month, like the way that we're doing it now is so much better because of the data we're getting. And what I feel that was lacking in my lead gen in the past is the data of the lead. Because, you know, when you do Google, you probably can get some data, which is fine. But the Facebook stuff, like, you know, the stuff we're getting now, it's like, when do you want to buy? Immediate, 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 12. You know, do you have a down payment? How much money do you make? What income, or how much down payment do you have? What is your credit score? Like, I think what I've learned in the years of lead gen is data is key, because now what I can do is I can tell my agents, okay, the 1 to 3 months in the immediates, I need you to call these guys 100 times, buy or die. I don't care. They're telling you they're going to buy. The other ones, get to when you can. Because 3 to 6 months, like, yes, there is the odd person that's going to do it. And there's obviously scripts for that too. Like finding out if they can get a gifted down payment. That'll get somebody to buy, you know, right away. A lot of people are like, hey, well, I'm already in a lease. Okay, well, it's $1,500 to break a lease. It's 8 months down the road. Did you know that you'd pay off $10,000 of your mortgage in that time? Or are you worried about your $1,500? So again, that goes back to the organization of scripting. And it's been a challenge, man. Like we've run some lead stuff that, do you remember when we were running those last year and we had like 1,500 or something and we couldn't even close the door at that time? Like nothing went. And so we had to change it up. And I also, you know, my agents weren't on it. There's an accountability piece. Oh, the leads suck. But the new leads we've had they've never been more, my team's never been more excited ever for any leads in the last 8 years. And I mean that genuinely. And, you know, we've had our challenges in the past with a few things, but they're awesome. Like I've calling them myself, you know, it's been a month or 2 weeks and we've written 4 offers in the last 3.5 weeks on some stuff. Now, 2 people couldn't get financing, but that's okay. That's still the idea. And we have so much in the hopper now that like, if this can keep going consistently and steady, this is the way that lead gen should be done. It's just a shitload of data. So you know so much about them. You pay 3 times the amount, but I'd rather have less anyways, because that company I told you about, it was $1.50 a lead. Like it was awful. So we were calling and nobody wanted to do anything. I'll spend $10 and get 1 lead and then I have a better chance. So that's kind of a long-winded version of how that goes.
You know, that makes sense too, right? And I mean, you've been doing lead gen for a long time. Like it's, you know, I mean, you know, you and I started talking, you know, almost 4 years ago. And then that's kind of actually an interesting story too, because, you know, inside of our program, we kind of teach a little bit about how, like, you know, how to reach out agents and things like just kind of organically. Right. And you actually, I don't know if you remember this and how you and I actually met.
My memory
you know, so you remember the company you had for listing presentations?
Oh yeah. Agent marketing group. Yeah.
You're right. So you were posting inside of like these Facebook groups for
yeah.
So I come along inside of that group and I don't want to seem all spammy, but I basically I left a comment, the only comment, because a lot of these groups, there's no traction, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I basically just said like, hey, you know, I'm working with a client that I think might be interested in this. And I genuinely did, like, it wasn't a bullshit comment.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then you replied to that, and it's like we had just ended up having a conversation about what was going on, and told you a little bit about what I was doing. But and that was way back when, like, I really didn't know what I was doing. By the way, I made it sound like I did, but just a really good salesperson.
Yeah. I bet.
So that's kind of how we met, was through a Facebook group, and you spamming the group and me spamming the comments.
Yeah. So I remember we talked. I remember we talked about, because you were with. Are you still with Exit? No.
That was back in the day when I was doing a lot of work with Exit. Yeah.
I remember that. We did specific books. I do. I remember that, and that was just like, I remember that company too. It's still, actually, the concept's still great. My business partner just couldn't execute. So
right. Well, it is what it is, right? But you know, and the thing is that, you know, like, I know that over the years, like, you've tried a lot of different things, right? You've tried Google ads, you've tried, you know, pretty much everything. You've tried video, you've tried lead gen, you've tried Facebook ads. I think even, in fact, you've built your own ISA team years ago.
We did,
you know, this whole concept, like the idea of live transfers, is not something that's new, because you guys were doing this 5 years ago. You know, how many Filipinos did you guys have calling at one point?
Oh shit, that company. I've done everything, I feel. We had a bunch. Like, it was a company we started up out of the Philippines. It was actually really good. What the fuck? Whatever it was. Anyways, it was good. Like, so they got the leads, the ISAs called, they live transferred, and then it was awesome. And like, there's 2 companies I'm working with now that you've referred me to. They've been great. Like, it's great. The only challenge with ISAs that I've found, there's a few, is just in Calgary is very unique for some reason. And whenever we do a lot of lead gen, and it's different in everywhere across the world, obviously, is our connection rates for some reason are a lot less than almost anywhere else, is the feedback that I'm getting. Because I get new agents and I try stuff, and I've had companies be like, look, man, I swear to God, we're successful everywhere else. I'm like, I told you, Calgary's, it is for some reason a different beast. So I've just found the connections to be challenging, is getting them on the line and then transferring them over. So that's only been their real challenge with ISAs. But I love them because they vet it. Basically, I hate to say it, the ISAs are a shit filter. That's what they're supposed to be, right? You're looking for 5 or 6, maybe 10 leads out of the 100 that are good. They get rid of the 90, which if in theory, with a great ISA team, if they can make the connections, is you come in, you get 100 leads, you're probably supposed to get 7 to 15 live transfers, I would say. That's probably about what you're supposed to get and what they preach to get. It's tough for, again, in Calgary. I know in other markets, they even get more. Like in Ottawa, it's like out of control, right? But if you can get that, and your agents can then just focus on those, and then let the ISAs focus on the stuff that's not wasting their time, so you don't burn out your agents. Like in the United States, I have some of the top guys that are in my mastermind stuff, and they're getting that Zillow, like I kind of black out during our conversations. It's mostly about Zillow, and we don't have Zillow, but they have like this Zillow Flex shit, and then stuff's going on. But they're talking about like their agents are working 15-hour days, and they're making such little splits because Zillow takes 35%. And the team wants 30%, the agent's left with 30. And it's just, they burn out. Like your agents will burn out. But if you give them good leads and get them excited, they're not going to burn out. So that's why the ISA, in my opinion, is super important, to just get rid of the stuff that they shouldn't be wasting their time on anyways. And then giving them the 15 good leads and making sure, hey, you call these people until they buy or they die or they tell you to fuck off. And even then set a reminder a month later to see if they've cooled their jets, to call them again.
But even with the ISAs, it's tough, right?
It is.
Because I mean, the ISAs are booking appointments. You're still getting live transfers, which means you need to know what to do with live transfers, right? If the agents don't know the scripts or don't know what to do with a live transfer, it's still tough, right? I mean, it's not.
And some of the live transfers, like the challenge is the live transfer. Some people start looking for a year. It's not like they're like, oh, I want to buy right now. It's like, I was getting some live transfers, great live transfers. The system was great. But they're like, yeah, I don't have a down payment and I'm thinking of in 6 months. I'm like, why did I pick up my phone? Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's like, that's so far down the road that it doesn't matter. And again, going back to the leads and the info that we're getting is immediate and 1 to 3 months. It's like, let's just really hyper focus on those because, there's pros and cons to it. You can sit there. What I think the move would be, and to save money, is do the 1 to 3 months and the immediates, have a higher budget to get those, and get the ISA companies to just crush those and live transfer those, and have your agents call, because that's really what you're honestly looking for. The 3 to 6 months, let your agents call them whenever they have time. The 6 to 12s, call them once, call them twice. The odd person you'll be able to convince otherwise, but spend your money smart and spend more money and really hyper focus on trying to do that. And that's, it's something that you and I have never tried. I mean, we could. It's like, just simply ask, are you looking to buy in the next 3 months? And then have some kind of promo or something. So then really the lead should be, in theory, you'll spend more, but you're getting stuff that they want to buy in the next 3 months. So that's something that you and I haven't tried. And we'll throw money at it. I don't know. I'll try it. Whatever.
Well, fuck it. We'll just throw a bunch of money at it. Let's
see if it works. That's the only way to do it. Is if you got to try, right? Like, we're trying to find something that's successful that can be replicated everywhere. And I think that's the key to it, is teams get agents, give them leads, and they make them burn out on leads. And that's a mistake I've made, is I'm like, just give them more leads, and they have to follow up, and they get mad they don't follow up, when really they have a 97% chance of not closing them, because 3 out of 100 close statistically if you're really good. So even the good leads that we're getting now, will still be lucky to probably close 5 or 6, but we've also gotten rid of the, like, are you unemployed? Yes. Don't even send me that one. You know what I mean? Like, just, that's fine. I burnt my money. No problem. Just give me the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and so it's another interesting point. Like you just said, like, I burnt my money. So what? right?
Who cares?
So, but as agency owners, as marketers, and even now as real estate agents, we're so um, we become brainwashed almost that the lead should only cost $2,
No,
$5.
I'd rather you.
Like, what is it? Like, what's that number that, like, to get a listing, for instance, a signed listing, like what
Sure.
would you pay for that?
If so,
Signed
like
listing.
per
Like, what's
lead,
that worth?
like so, I'm trying again. I'm trying 1,000 companies, so I'm trying this one. It's going to cost me probably $100 a lead, in theory. $100 a lead. It's a booked appointment, either at their house or a phone one if they don't want to be at home. So let's say it's $100 a lead, and I get 30. Let's say that I close 2 out of the 30, right? Because so far, it's only been a week. They've been good, actually. So let's say that it's been that, and if I close 2 and it costs me $3,000, like I'm going to make 14. If I said, hey guys, there's a stock.
So the cost per acquisition is $1,500
right.
on a
Who gives a
listing,
shit if
and
I
but
make
you're okay with it.
$500? Fuck yeah, double it, and I'm still okay with it. Like as long as that works, that's what some people don't understand. And realtors, like we make a shit ton of money when we close a deal, right? And they're worried about, oh, it's going to cost me $1,000. Like I literally had one guy that's like a realtor. I'm not going to mention his name. He's a friend of mine. He's like, well, I'm spending $1,000 a month, and I'm getting one listing, and but it's $1,000 a month. I'm like, how much is your listing that you're getting? He's like, well, minimum $7,000. I'm like, find a fucking stock right now that every month you're going to 7 times your money. I'm like, I'd put $10,000 every month into what you're doing. Now, it's not sustainable just because of the lead amounts, but agents have the misconception. It's like, what's it cost? Who gives a shit? What's your return? That's all that matters, is what's your return on it. I had one girl, God bless her heart. She was like geo-farming an area, right? It was so ridiculous. I couldn't even believe this was an actual conversation I was having with somebody. She geo-farmed an area. It was $2,000 a month. She did it for a year, and she made, which is 2,000 a month, so 24 grand. She made back 87,000. She canceled it because it cost her 24 grand. And I looked at her, I'm like, that was your first year. What about year 2, year 3 as it goes up? And she was so focused on the 24 grand. And I literally had to, like, am I talking to a 4-year-old here? Like, you're spending 24, you're getting back 80 something, your profit's 60 grand. Go do another one, double it. And then it's mind blowing. You're so focused on how much it costs as opposed to your return. A lot of agents, it's insane. Like lead gen, do lead gen. If you spend $1,000 a month on lead gen, let's just use that number. Any agents, if there are any out there, I'm getting a little bit heated right now. So if you spend $1,000 on lead gen, no matter where you're at, unless Detroit, where your houses I think are 24 grand, except if you're there, if you're probably anywhere else in North America, if you go there and you spend $1,000 on leads, let's say you get 50 or 60, and let's say you close 1 a month and it's 6 grand, you're getting 6 times your money. You're so focused on the 1,000. Let's say, God forbid, you're terrible. All you literally have to do is you span it out. It's $12,000 for a year. How many do I have to sell in a year? 2 to still make money. If you can't do 2, you're right. You shouldn't be doing it. But there's not a person in the world with the right follow-up. Even if you suck on the phone, you're bound to get lucky. That it just doesn't make sense. And the amount of money I've made from lead gen is ridiculous. I've spent a lot of money that hasn't worked, but you just got to find what works. Like you have to, and just follow up. What did they say? It's something like 80% of the money made is after the 7th phone call. It's something like that.
Right?
Yeah. 90% of statistics are made up. I just made that one up too. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if that's real, but it's a high percentage after the 7th call, and the majority of people quit after the 3rd because they think this is. Like, I have guys that call me literally that I want to talk to sell me something, that I've scheduled something, and I'm busy just like the rest of the world. And they might call me 2-3 times. I want them to call me, and I still don't answer. So imagine if you're some asshole that you've never talked to before, you're going to have to call them a few times and always create value in any opportunity you can. And that's the thing, is like, give them. Like the guy called today, he's like, I just want this. He was a little bit grumpy. I'm like, hey man, no problem. I said, I've never seen your house. I can't give you a proper assessment. I can't do this. It's not possible. So by the end of it, I talked to him for 10 minutes. We agreed that I'll take the time, send him what his home is worth, and then I'm going to follow up with him every 2 months for the next year until he's ready to sell his house. Most agents would just be like, oh, okay. Oh, you just want me to email it to you? Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll email it to you. Thanks. That's how 99% of them do. I talked to him for 10 minutes. I'm going to go meet him next week so I can see him in person. I'll take the time. And if my follow-up's great, he's been in his house for 20 years. He doesn't have an agent. So it's the way I look at it is that's my lead to lose right now.
Yep. 100%.
Joe,
There's not that many people trying to take it away from you.
Yeah.
Joe Velez says here, we need to hire Brad to do a video commercial.
Buddy, true story. I don't know if you knew about this, Shane. I actually was on a video. Like I had my own, it was called Property Showdown. I was fucking fat. Like, I mean, it was gross. And the camera put on 10 pounds. So I was like this beluga whale trying to sell this house. It was awful. So if you actually Google Property Showdown, it's on YouTube. There might be like one episode. We would sit there like in front of these people. And it was on like, what are those stupid TV shows called? It was just like another real estate TV show in Calgary. So I've done that. I love doing these kind of things. Like if I could just make a shit ton of money, just pumping people up and swearing and drinking and talking about real estate, like that would be my dream. Like,
and I think that's another thing kind of.
Good spot for that.
yeah. If you guys want me to come on every week, just let me know. Like, right?
Who wants Brad to come on every week?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just let me know. If you want a monthly thing where I can just rant and teach people about real estate, I love nothing. This is one of my favorite things to do. You can tell I get passionate and excited, and I love this more and more.
Well, one of the things you've talked about is providing some coaching to other agents as well, right? And I know you've offered to provide coaching, and that's here's a crazy thing. You offered to provide coaching to some of my clients that were struggling with converting their own leads.
Yeah.
I reached out to them and talked to them about it, and they never did anything about it.
I know,
but it's fucking craziest shit ever. It's like free coaching. Like,
I know. But the crazy thing is, look at the guy from Edmonton. I literally have closed 15 deals from what he's doing. I'm going to make $140,000, right? He's going to make zero. And I offered him free coaching. I did a 15-minute call, 20-minute call. It was about 30 minutes, sorry. 30-minute call, we role played. He literally texted me after. He's like, dude, you need to coach me. I haven't been this pumped about real estate ever. Can you do it every week? No problem. Next week, it's in my calendar. No offense. I'm the fucking busy one here, not you. You're not selling houses. And he's like, oh, I have a doctor's appointment. It's some shit. I'm like, okay, no problem. He's like, hey, can we do it the same time next week? I'm not following up with some fucking guy to give him free coaching. If you want to take the initiative, fine. So he still hasn't called me since. And it's like, I literally, when I was showing him, I'm going to fucking snap now. When I was showing him literally what I do, because I Zoom called him, like I showed him all my follow-up, all my notes, everything I was doing. He's like, you call them more than once? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I have to call Shane sometimes 6 times just to get him live. He's busy, and I think he wants to talk to me most of the time. But it's the same thing. It's like even people you want to talk to, you have to call. And it just blows my mind that agents do these lead gens, and they think that they have to make one call and they say the leads suck. It's you suck. Have a look in the mirror. You're shitty. You're not trained enough, which is fine. I was there too. But take initiative if you're going to do this, to take it like a job. 2 hours of calls every day minimum. You call your sphere, you call for sale by owners. What we're doing is we're calling something that's successful for us recently is we're calling places, people have places to rent to ask them if they want to sell because the market's picked up. Like there's so much you can do as an agent. Just don't be a pussy and make phone calls. That's it. Like I hate making calls. I love doing this. I hate making calls. Every time I pick up the phone, like right after this, I have to make an hour worth of calls. It's going to make my dick soft. I'm going to be so fucking mad. I'm going to swear to the gods. And then I'm going to make an hour of calls after this until I have to do my first time homebuyer seminar. But the thing is, when you make the first 3 calls, you get in the groove and you do it. I've never once sat down in 11 years of doing real estate and been like, come on, baby, let's just do this. I'm so excited to tell me to fuck off for the next 3 hours. Doesn't happen. It's not real. But you just have to be disciplined enough to do it.
It's so true. It's so true.
It's awful. I'm gonna go get my hat again. My hair's shit.
This is the reality of being.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Like I'm sweating. Like I'm sweating like a prostitute in church. Like it's gross. Like you should see this. And I have an air-conditioned house. I'm just heated. I'm gonna have to go shower before my first-time homebuyer seminar.
Guys, if you're loving this, I love it. And it's the truth, right? I mean, it's the reality. And it's you know, I think this is something that we struggle with just as marketers, is that like what you're saying, most people won't do. And it's not just real estate agents, just people in general, business owners, you know, like you know, business owners are complaining all the time. It's like, I don't have any business. So make fucking phone calls, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
People are out there willing to buy, right? Even agency owners, like, I can't close any business. Well, how many calls are you making? How many real estate agents are you calling, right? Like, how many people are you following up with? That real estate agent you spoke
he
to
buys everything.
Yeah, talk to me. I'll buy it. Shit, what are you selling? I'll try it.
Anybody want to try to sell Brad on whatever you're offering?
Go ahead. Yeah, call me. I'll probably buy it at least once. I'll blow you up on social media if it sucks.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting tomorrow how many of the marketers that are watching here will be calling you tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's really quickly. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like, you know, obviously, you know, the fact that you're one of the top Remax teams out there, and you know, Brad, we got to talk about this thing, that the fact, like, if you're number one in the world, like one of the number one teams in the world, at the very least, since you're one of the top 15 real estate agents for Remax, this is something we need to highlight in your ads and everything that we do for you guys, because I think that's a big thing. Like, we never highlight the fact that you're one of the number one teams out there, right?
I've been like, it's been one of those things where, like, I do have a very loud personality, but when you get to know me, like, I am actually extremely humble. Like, I don't talk about it very much, which is fine. Like, if it's on this, if it's going to help somebody, because I'm just some asshole right now on the screen talking, but there has to be some validity to my success. So that's why I talk about it, right? Because it's like, okay, well, who are you? Just like if I were to watch anything for anybody else, it's like, well, what have you done, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing. But yeah, of course we should be marketing. Like, we're the number one team at the number one Remax office in the world. That's literally on all my signs all across the city, on all my listings. So I told my agents, we're being fucking lazy. I said, here's what I want you guys to picture, because I want to keep number one. And there's a guy that I made a bet with that I'd stay number one, and he's riding my ass, and it's not good, but it's motivating us. I said, picture this January 2nd. On all your listings, you have to go fucking take that down, because you're not the number one team at the number one Remax office in the world anymore. So on all your listings, I want you to call all your clients, and you're going to tell them that you fucking failed. That still didn't work. I thought it was a good speech, but... My agents are just like, yeah, probably. So of course you should be marketing all that stuff, right? Like, it's important, and I've never done it. Like, it's never been the Brad Vanderwall show. Like, my agents have their own names on their sign, like, or you know what I mean? Like, I do it differently. Every single one, all my agents, even if they're new, I call them business partners, because I don't want, like, if I refer somebody or do whatever, I want my agents to feel that they're empowered and create their own business within what I've created. So they can go and do any of this stuff that we've done. It's like, go call FSBOs, do whatever. Here's a list of 11 things you can do to make money. Get good at a few of them and keep doing it. Put your name on the sign. I don't care. It's a different mentality. I'm probably one of the only people that runs a team like this in North America. I'll be honest. All my guys I talk to are like, I can't believe you do this. But yeah, we should. I don't know. You're the marketer. Shouldn't you be doing that then? Do I have to come up with every idea? Jesus.
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah.
That's why we have you here.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to talk a little bit about, I know you've got, you got some time constraints here. We can't.
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I'm having too much fun. I have to we have another half an hour. We're good.
Okay, cool.
If people want to listen.
And we're going to dump in. We're going to jump into one of the things that's been really working well for you. So guys, if you're watching, stick around. We were going to dive into one of the strategies that you've been doing for the past, probably, I think the past few months anyways, that's been working out. It's been generating you at least 2 closings every single month. We're going to jump into that. Matt's going to go ahead and send out another broadcast here. I don't know if our chat bot's working, get some more people on the show here. Guys, if you're having fun and enjoying what you're seeing, like hit the like button and hit something. Like, let us know that you're here watching, where you're watching from. Let Brad know that you're enjoying the show. If you're tuning in from YouTube, make sure it's probably going to be the replay. But if you want to come check out Whiskey Thursday, we're here live every Thursday, 8 p.m. inside the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. Tonight, we've got Brad Van der Walle here from one of the world's #1 RE/MAX team. We're super excited to have him here, and you've been dropping a ton of knowledge. And it just, it's great. It's great to hear the other side of this. Because like I said earlier in the show, a lot of times we have marketers here, agency owners. It's nice to have the perspective of the real estate agent and just really about, what's working, what's not working. And that the other side of it too is that you're running a team, right? So you're also trying to motivate your team with, the lead gen side of it and what's working, what's not working, and all that other stuff. And it's that part of it's still really challenging. I know you and I've had discussions about just like how hard it is to get your agents motivated to call the leads that you're sending them. You're spending money to do lead generation. Your team's not calling them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's been really challenging. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is about, we're talking about, calling your customers and just the follow-up and all that stuff. As agency owners, marketers, and you being a real estate agent, I'm assuming you're constantly being bombarded by agency owners, marketers trying to pitch you stuff.
Of course. Well, it's like you guys have this fucking sucker button on it, because now that I've like clicked on a couple of them, every third thing is like 30 leads or 15 appointments guaranteed and all this stuff. That's like all in my Facebook thread now, because I'm like, I'll book an appointment, listen to the asshole. I'll book an appointment, listen to this asshole. I'll book an appointment, listen to this.
You're that guy, right?
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to find something that's scalable. You know what I mean? That's something I've always, because once I find a scalable system that truly works, then I can literally go and hire as many agents as I want. Because it's like, hey, do you want 5 to 6 guaranteed appointments a week, or whatever that system is that's real? It's been a challenge to find that encompassing one where you pay for the ISA, you pay for the leads, they come, and then but you still have to, your agents still have to close. Like, that's the other thing, is you can still have, this is great, but if this isn't great, you have to have synergy for both in order for it to work.
Yeah, it's almost like you need like both sides of it, right? It's not just the lead gen side. It's not just the automated text follow-ups and the automated email follow-ups. It's the like what you need to do with your agents, which is basically motivating them to actually call those leads. Yeah. And it's to try to find a system or a lead gen source that actually motivates those agents to follow up with the leads.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they're not motivated to follow up, they're not going to do the phone calls. You're not going to close shit.
It doesn't matter.
It's not going to matter. It doesn't matter how good the system is.
Totally. And even if they are motivated, it's still hard, because they might have, shit happens in people's lives, right? Personally, shit can happen. You might be off for a week or maybe 2. And, you got to recover from that. And some people in the dumps for a month. Like, we're all human beings. That stuff's going to happen. But the truth is, when you're team lead, you're the one that's lighting the money literally on fire if they're not doing a follow-up. It doesn't affect them. They don't see it. If I came to them like, hey guys, I'm spending 10 grand a month. Here's what's going to happen. There's 10 of you. If you guys don't close one a month, I'm starting to ding you back $1,000 each. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it'd be a different story. Right. So there's that aspect that, as a team member, like as a team leader, I don't feel you can really do that, but it's challenging even if you have guys that are motivated. That's the truth, is right. That you have to go and, I do want to start my own coaching thing. Like I do, like I for real, I do. But the challenge I have with the coaching thing is I know I motivate people. I'm not saying that egotistically, I just do. That's just a gift that I have. Everybody has different gifts. One of mine is like, if people are watching this, there's not too many people to be like, wow, guy's pretty quiet and reserved and not motivating at all. And he lies all the time. Like, that's not how I get. When people meet me, the first impression of me isn't, oh man, that Brad guy, man, he was so nice. Like, that's my fiance. Everybody meets her is like, she's the nicest person they've ever met, which is true. For me, it's like, he's pretty intense, but that's what I want. Like, I want that. So I think that there has to be a coaching program that I don't think exists that just hits you in the face with it and calls you out. It's like, are you doing this or not? Because if you're not, get out of my coaching program, because I don't even want you here. I want people that want to succeed. And something doesn't exist like that, where it's just cut to the core, just naked. This is how this is. Let's go through this. Let's role play. Let's figure this out. And let's do that. That's not a ridiculous amount of money. It doesn't exist.
Do we have any agents watching the show? I know we get a lot of marketers because, you know, part of the group is really focused on marketers and agency owners, but do we have any agents watching the show? And like, maybe we could offer a little something for some of the agents. I mean, I know you're into this kind of stuff, right?
I'm fine doing it, but if you don't show up and if you keep coming excuses, I will come at you like a spider monkey, because I'm not in the mood for this shit.
So
yeah, if somebody wants,
forewarned.
But the other thing too is if you have marketing people on here, you know, and I will start my own coaching thing when I get around to it. It's having something like that you can offer as a second service. And I'm not going to sit here and be like the other people charge $2,000 a month. We'll figure something out that makes sense, where it's just an affordable accountability piece, and I have to do it once a week on a Zoom call like this, so it doesn't have to be super expensive. But even for the marketing people on here, you're going to lose clients because they don't know. That's great that you're great at lead gen. They're terrible at follow-up. So if they're terrible follow-up, you lose all your clients. And I'd say, I'm making this up, I would be surprised if 7 agents, no, not even. 7 agents out of 10 did a shitty job. I would think that 3 probably are okay, and 1 of them probably would be really good, maybe. So if there was a way that you could retain more of your people, there's got to be a way. And that's what you and I talked about a couple months ago. It's just like, hey, what can we do to help everybody? I love helping people. At the end of the day, I'll tell anybody how I make my money. I don't care if you're from Calgary even. I'll tell you how to do it. There's people go around the world and do seminars and teach people what they do, because you know what? They know that over 99% of the room is not going to go and do it anyways. So give me all your money. I'll tell you everything I'm going to do. You guys might try it for a month, realize it's too hard, and then you won't do it anyways. So just tell people what you do.
Well, listen, we got Keith here. That's from Remax. Actually says,
nice.
Remax, I'm here. Brent Sexton, that's actually part of inside of our academy as well. He's actually a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Does all of his own lead gen stuff.
Cool.
He says, hook me up with some coaching. So maybe, this might be a couple guys here that might be interested in doing some stuff.
Reach out, and I think that what I'd like to do is, if there's 6 or 7 or 5 or 10, I don't care. I just have to make time. Earlier in the mornings, the better. Because I know if you're Eastern, like I get the office at 7 a.m., there's not a lot of people bugging me. So I'll even get to the office at 6 if I have to coach for half an hour. Like I want feedback of what the agents want, because the coaching programs that are out there sit there and they just force what you think that they want. Like they'll sit there and they'll give you a script. That's it. And you get to read it, but there's no role playing. There's no accountability. It's just, here's our list of everything that we do. Give me $1,500 a month. And you're going to get 1 coaching call for half an hour every week. And basically you go over your numbers. I've done so many of them, and they've helped me. So please, I'm not taking that away, but there's a better way to doing it, especially now with like Zoom and stuff like this. Like you can have 100 people on this call right now, and I could do 2-hour Zoom, and hopefully the 100 people that are on that call will just be like, yeah, like just fire in your questions. Let's role play right now. I pull one of the guys out. I'm like, hey man, let's role play. Let's do a buyer call right now. And I just try to stump the guy. And maybe I get stumped. I don't care. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I think it'd be awesome. It'd be hilarious. It's just I just want to do things different, because the coaching's boring. Some guys like Mike Ferry still in his things like send a fax, like update your book. Like in his thing, it actually says send a fax to somebody. Like bro. Update the book. Like,
it's going to come to a point where someone's going to say, how do I send a fax, right?
Well, I know that's
Hey, but let's be honest. If you could send a fax right now, it would get noticed, because people would be like, that thing hasn't worked in like.
That's true.
Somebody just
absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We got a couple questions here, guys. And if you have questions for Brad, feel free to drop them inside the comments here. Keith here says, how do you split with your agents?
So full disclosure, each agent actually is different, because the way that I've done my team and the way I want to do my team is I don't want to babysit anymore. Like I don't take on any new agents anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't have the time, and it's not the best use of my time. Basically the way it is, every agent's honestly different. what I like to do is a 50-50 split on anything that comes from the team, and then 70-30 on Sphere. So, but I want agents that make like, 150 to 200 is what I'm going after right now, because that next agent wants to get an assistant. So at an assistant, you're going to have to, if you're making 200, your next person should be an assistant. Well, that's going to take $50,000 you have to pay. Then you have to worry about the monthly, you have to train them. So basically I'm like, look, your Sphere right now, you're making 200,000. Give me 30% of it. So that's 60 grand. And I have 2 assistants, you get to use them. But then they get to use all our systems, all of our marketing. They don't have expenses. So the way I've set up my team is to go after top producers. I don't want the people that aren't producing right now. And they have an escalated Sphere. So the first 10 are 70-30. Then after that is like 80-20. And sometimes it gets to 90-10. So I also, for my team, have an escalating so that they're motivated, where it's like it's not 50-50 the whole time. It's like the first 10 are 50-50 from the team. The next 5 are 60-40. And then after that is 70-30. So my splits are honestly probably different than any team in North America. And I've done my research for years. Basically, it's like, as a top producer, where would I want to be? I would want to be on my team. And that's how I did it, is what's fair, knowing the expenses of a team. So everybody has a little bit different. Like some of my agents are 50-50 straight up because they've only been around for 2 years. But then they also know in their 3rd year, they're getting a raise. In their 4th year, they're getting a raise. So there's always something to look forward to make more money for them. Makes sense.
John says, do you call, text, and email, or just call?
All 3, man, or woman. Who said that?
John.
John? Probably, man. But these nowadays, I'm never going to assume. But yeah, like I do all of them because everybody responds different. Now it depends. Like if I always like to call, I do leave a message. Some people swear not to leave a message. That's fine. There's different training for both. I've tried both. I don't know if there's any difference, but I definitely call and then I'll leave a message and also text. And it's funny because some people leave a message. I'll leave 2 messages. I'll text and they'll start texting me back. And then email is a big one. So I actually do all of them. I'll do it a few times. And then after, if I don't hear anything, because the leads now are coming in that are so good, I can afford to slough them off and just put them in a drip campaign and maybe something comes from it down the road.
Yeah. How much would you say comes from your drip campaign down the road?
Okay. You want the honest answer? Yep. My drip campaign is fucking garbage. It's terrible. Like I have 21.
Uh-oh.
Whoop.
Did he freeze? I think he froze. No worries.
No, it's okay.
Your question.
He'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back.
We'll be back. Hang on. Yeah, this is a good time. This making me want to go.
1,000.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. You're back. You're back. Yeah, you're back.
It's 7 p.m. to my internet. Same thing last night, Shane. It's like a 7 p.m. curse.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, if it sketches out again, I'll just use this Zoom thing. I'll do it from my phone, so I don't have to use the Wi-Fi.
No, you're all good.
Okay.
So you're basically saying
21,000. So sorry, 21,000 leads is how many I have in my database. And honestly, one of my greatest downfalls is that there's an amazing company called Walle. It's like Monopoly, but the last half of it, Walle is like unreal. And I just about signed up for him, but it was literally COVID hit. I'm like, do I want to spend this much more money when I can't even show houses? So I didn't, but you have to use your database. My biggest flaw in real estate is my lack of communication with my past clients in my database. I'm such a hunter that I'm hunting for new that I forget to farm. That is like my biggest downfall for sure. Like without a doubt. So it's just a matter of taking a database. Like even today with Follow Up Boss, I'm doing a first time homebuyer seminar after this. There's 374 people that haven't showed up at my first time homebuyer seminar. I sent them all an email saying, hey, I'm doing one tonight. Do you want to show up? And I'm going to text my mortgage broker. It's like, hey, 4 people just signed up because of it. That's 4 more people that are there tonight that I just don't properly take advantage of that I need to. But systems and shit like that stress me out. Like I just want somebody to figure it out. I want somebody else to do it. I want to train somebody on how to do it and just never think about it again, because that's just not the best use of my time and it drives me nuts.
Makes sense. Let's see. We do have some questions coming in. Brent says, any favorite lead gen sources?
Shane, and that's not a shameless plug. Because I'm honest enough that I tell you that he sucks if he did. Last year, he probably wouldn't have been that for the marketing that we're doing, but I just think it's so refined right now I've canceled all my lead gen except for Shane, and that's the honest truth. And I've referred him, like we're getting some really big accounts with like $5,000 to $6,000 a month that have the potential of being $15,000 a month that I've sent to him. So no joke. And my agent's feedback, and it's been recent, like we were trying leads and I wouldn't even say we failed. Like everything I brought Shane is like, I've never done this before. I'm like, fuck it, neither have I. Let's try it. So it's like, it was trying to do something that hadn't. And then we kind of came up with the concept recently that's been phenomenal. And all my agents are getting these listings. And then now but that's not true. Sorry, not all of them. The agents that are getting these listings are so excited for these leads that they actually want to sit down and make the calls. So then I've trusted 2 of my top guys to take these leads on, and myself. I never ask Shane. I always try it myself first. And if I can't do it, I'm just being honest, then they're garbage. Like that's it. If I can't close, then they're garbage. So I'm not going to send them to my agents. So, but now I tried them. Like Shane, I wrote an offer in fucking 4 days from one of your leads, and I wrote another one like 10 days later. Again, fell apart for financing. Doesn't matter. It's the fact that they were that serious that they wanted to go. So now my agents are talking about these leads and meetings, and all my other agents are like, when do we get these leads? It's like, you guys suck. So you're probably not going to, but I have to keep pretending that Shane's dropping ball and it's taking longer than I want it to. So I would say the best leads that I've had for sure, honestly, is Shane's. And to be fair, just not to do a different plug, this company that I'm just starting with so far has been good. It's been 10 days and they're seller leads. So far they've been good, but it's too small of a data sample to be able to tell.
Yeah.
We, and we've done a lot together. I mean, we've had an opportunity to test a lot of stuff. You've been in a tough market for the past, 4 or 5 years, right? Like it's been hard. And a lot of this, I remember back in the day when you and I were doing the infill stuff. We're talking about, $600,000, $700,000 properties in a market in a depressed market, right? It was tough, and I think that the lesson here is that we just kept trying.
We've literally tried. Like, look, we came up with the concept. What, 2 weeks ago? You did, actually. I'll give you credit for this because I'm like, hey, I went and sold to Toronto, and I was getting Toronto leads, and we were doing this. You're like, and then I told you about my seminar because you didn't know my first time home buyer seminars were done by Zoom. So you're like, what? You do those Zoom? Because you remember you asked me, you're like, do you get them to sign buyer's agreement?
Right, that's right, yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck? How would you do that? Like, I'm not even seeing anybody. So you thought they were in person, and he came on, and then a light bulb went on your head. You're like, why don't you do investment seminars to people in Toronto? And we did our first one, and yeah, of course, my internet at 7:05 last time glitched as I'm trying to fucking close everybody. So imagine that. I'm trying to close, and then it just glitches, and then I'm gone. But anyways, it was a good learning experience, but we had a great attendance rate, and that was the first time we tried that. So it's thinking outside the box and trying to do different things. Like the amount of money I'm making from Zoom things right now is like, it's astronomical. Like, it's stupid. It takes me an hour.
And let's get into that. Matt, I don't know if there's any more questions or comments or anything, but let's get into that because I think that's one of the big things that's been working really well for you over the past couple of months is some of these things you've been doing, especially with lenders and things like that. And I want to kind of touch on that. We're also hitting sort of that we're getting close to 9:15 here. I know you said, 9:15, 9:30. I
got time. I literally don't have to be on my call until like he's introducing me is what it is. Cause it's a time thing at the same time. Oh no, wait. No, he said it starts at 7:30. Oh no. I still have time. In about half an hour, he'll be introducing me. But I told him I was making.
I just want to make sure we respect your time. I know you're busy.
No, I'm fine. As long as people want to listen to me, I'll be here.
Okay. Yeah. You guys want to keep listening to Brad? Let us know. If you don't, we'll just end the show.
Yeah, we'll cut it out. I'm about to drop some gold though, so make sure you stay at least for another 10 minutes.
There you go. And if you guys are watching live, hashtag live in the comments down below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Get that engagement up because again, Facebook's API is down for chatbots. So
no chatbots tonight, eh? Okay.
Yeah. Also, if you're running Messenger campaigns right now, you might want to check on those because again, Facebook's Messenger API is down. So Luke says his point of scaling where most people sell X amount of leads and appointments for X amount of dollars and bundle everything in one cost. Would a retainer model plus ad spend and ISA costs separate be attractive to someone like yourself? So the ad spend is transparent with your marketing, and you can scale up and down as much as you want. So basically, a fixed retainer versus a full package.
Question.
Okay, did I black out there? I think that went above my head.
So basically, what appeals more to somebody like yourself? A fixed retainer plus the ad spend and other costs like ISAs, or a done for you package? It's $5,000.
So the one I just signed up for ended up being, I wanted a certain amount of appointments, and then I told him his ISA model, it was way too expensive for what I wanted, because the ISAs were like $5,400 a month, because I was getting like $3,000 worth of leads. Like, it was out of control. So I'm like, look, this doesn't work for me. So he gave me a flat thing with the ISA, a flat package, and I committed in my contract to spend the ad spend. Otherwise I wouldn't get the results that I wanted. But let's be clear, like, that budget's $6,000 a month. There's, for all you marketers out there, like, to find a guy like me that's just going to basically, I'm trying something. Like, actually, I don't care. I'm going to fucking throw him on the bus. Key marketing's dog shit. Like, that was awful. Like, it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. And I talked to the owner, and I tried and I tried and I tried. I literally lit $4,000 on fire. And he's like, it was bad. It's just, if you guys are doing this, for the love of God, just commit to what you're doing. That's all I'm asking is, hey, if I'm signing a contract, then you should be doing what you're doing too. Is, okay, have a great onboarding process. That was the worst experience I've ever had. It's all about your onboarding and me feeling comfortable. And look, I've been around for 8 years doing this. If I'm having troubles with my experience, somebody new, they're going to fail, because I at least know what to do. When I was getting my agents, I'm like, look, this is BS. Just call all these leads and keep doing this anyways while they figure it out. It's not going to be like that. So for me, for the calibers, I just want a one-time fee for something, and what's my ad spend and what's included in this, and maybe have 3 different packages. Because again, the ad spend that I'm comfortable with isn't very high, or is very high, right? Like, I can handle $6,000 a month threshold. A lot of people wouldn't be like that. And it's just all about value. And for the marketers on here, please, for the love of God, like, this new company I'm trying, they're great. Like, they get back to me. They do stuff. Is, Key promised a 48-hour turnaround. I didn't get answers for weeks. It just can't be that way. Like, it literally can't be that way when you're spending that kind of dollars, right? Yeah. So for just the onboarding is the biggest thing. Like, have your shit tight for onboarding. And then if you have questions, even if it's 24 hours, it's fine. Just give them. And the other thing that with all these things, I've tried, I probably tried 15 different companies, and I haven't found one that's worked, except for Shane. I don't really consider Shane companies. Actually, he's probably bumped up to friend status now as opposed to acquaintance last year or something. But
Thanks,
like, I don't know if you feel the same. But
I feel kind of the same. I feel like if you come to Toronto, like, if you fly out here for something, you might actually call me to say, hey, you want to grab a beer? But I think it's like, that's like a 50-50 thing.
No, it's 100%. Now you found leads at work, it's 100%. Like, there's no way that I'm not. But no, I think that the challenge that the marketer is going to have, and that's something that Shane and I talked about, is having a piece that's not super expensive to come in and have the training. Because I think that as the marketing company, you go in, you get these agents excited for these leads, which they will be. They don't know how to follow up. They don't know the scripts. They only call once. As the marketing company, you have so much going on behind the scenes, trying to get the ads to work, doing all your own business, that you can't worry about somebody else's business. You can't, but you are going to lose them, because I bet you the drop-off rate for a lot of people, I don't know what it is probably pretty high. And it's because you don't have a system in place to train them, to keep them going. Because trust me, once an agent's making money, hopefully they'll want to spend more money. They'll refer you people. Hey, this works. So have different packages, but for the love of God, please have a great onboarding and great follow-up. Even if you just call once a week after to ask how I'm doing, like, nobody's ever done that. Just like, hey, how is it going? You don't need to call me more than once. Even if I don't answer and leave me a message, that's still awesome, because you just care about how it's going. And out of the 15 marketing companies that I've tried, I talk to Shane every day, so it's different. So Shane aside, out of all the companies that I've tried, nobody's ever done that. Nobody's asked me how it's going. Nobody's ever asked me for feedback. The biggest thing that companies fail on is asking for feedback from the people that are using your product. Ask what's not working. How else are you going to grow and perfect it? that's the best thing to do, is get feedback from somebody that's using your program. What didn't you like about it? And now I don't give a shit. I just give people feedback. I don't fucking care if you like it. I don't give a shit. So like now the guys, I told them though, I said, when you sign me up with the new company I'm using, it's great. I said, I'm literally everything, I'm going to give you feedback. And they've been amazingly receptive. They've asked for my feedback. I've given the feedback of what was terrible so they can adapt. It's the only way you can get better as a company. Even if you want as a marketers, give a blind survey, send it to somebody and say, hey, how was your onboarding? How was this? How was this? Then you get your feedback. You're going to retain more clients because you're keeping them happy.
Yeah. Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that great feedback, Brad. That's, and so it's so true too, right? I mean, I still kind of question why you're still working with me though, but you know, it's, I think, sorry, go ahead.
I say, and agents do the same thing when they take a listing and then vanish, right?
Absolutely.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. The biggest thing is 76%. So I actually have something that's really cool whenever I do a listing presentation, is I actually open it up, because the big thing is that people complain about is never hearing from their agent. They want to complain about commissions, and they're scared they're tying to a contract. So in my listing presentation, I have a booklet that I open up. It's a 77-point marketing plan. I probably do 8 of them. It's not the point. It looks pretty.
Yep.
But you sit there and they look at it. But then on the back, I have a communication guarantee. And I said, hey, look, if I can't fix a problem with you within 48 hours, you can terminate at any time. And I'm going to call you every Wednesday between 8 and 10 to give you feedback on your home. Okay, well, there's one elephant out of the room that's gone. Then I have, so that's my communication guarantee. And then I have another one where, what were the other ones that I said? Give me a second. Oh, the easy exit. So the easy exit program. So it's like, if you're not happy, and if I can't fix it, literally, I will sign something saying that after 30 days, I can terminate the listing. So then they're like, because if you're doing lead gen, it's different than a referral. They don't know you. It's not a referral source where somebody's instantly comfortable with you because you have a referral. So I come in, I'm like, hey, if you're not happy, if I can't solve within 48 hours, I literally am signing. It's a contract you can sign. I will terminate my listing 30 days after that. Truth is, it still gives me 30 days to try to salvage it and sell it.
Yep.
Plus you put a bunch of money into it. And the other one is a commission agreement. So like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about commission, or I don't want to talk. It's just get the elephants out of the room right there. Then the other one is like, here's my commission agreement. Here's what it is if you find your own. Here's what it is. And there's 4 different commission agreements. So I said, I don't have a set commission. It just depends the way it goes. So now commission's gone. They're not worried about commission. They're not worried about being titled to you and like tied to you. And then they have their communication guarantee that they're going to hear from you. So like, it's all in how you present it to people, especially with lead gen, because they don't know you. You have an hour to build rapport to sell literally their largest asset they'll ever have. So it's super, super important.
Makes sense. And when a marketer signs on somebody like yourself, they're taking control of your marketing for a multi-million-dollar business or 6-figure, 7-figure business, whatever it is. Again, somebody's biggest asset. And
for sure. And the customer service for the marketing companies is honestly brutal. Like if once you get big enough, just have somebody that hammers on customer service, like have their job be, even if it's part-time, just have somebody from like, even if it's once a week. Like that's the thing is a lot of marketers, like I know you guys grow, and then the complaint I've had from so many marketers is we've grown so quick. I don't fucking care. I told Key Marketing, I said, I don't give a shit if you've grown so quick, because right now your business is shit. So it's like, you've grown so quick that now you're fucking with my business. You have your own things, and before you take on people, go figure it out and then do it, because you've grown so big that you have all these apologies. And then I just kept hearing different things like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. I'm like, you have hundreds of clients and you've never seen this simple task of not being able to get a hold of me in 2 weeks. Pretty sure that's not real. So for the marketing people, it's like, even if you hire somebody part-time, there's lots of people you can get. Even if you hire an ISA, just, hey, I need you from 8 to 5 every Wednesday. Because a lot of marketing people, it's like, oh, I don't want a $50,000 salary. Okay, just pay one person once a week to just touch base with all your people. I'm telling you, it'll go such a long way, because if somebody just called me to ask me how I was doing, even if you never get a hold of me, just leave me a message. To me, that means a lot, because I feel valued that I'm spending money. And then I can also say, hey, you wonder what? Can we fix this and this? Yeah, great. Let me work on that. And you feel heard. And most people just when you have a problem, you just want to feel heard. You want to feel that your problem's heard and can be resolved. So that's where I feel the marketing department, because I've, again, 15 different ones. Nobody's ever called me to ask me how I'm doing out of the blue.
That's what we're all doing tomorrow.
It's true though.
We're all
Like,
calling our clients tomorrow. Brad, I'll give you a shout tomorrow.
yeah, look, we talk 6 times a day. It's different. But you look at it's the little things that count though. It's like, so I've been at the same brokerage for 11 years. Okay. The number one Remax office in the world, 11 years. And my brokers doesn't call me. I'm like, I love my broker. Like Pat Hare, I love that man so much. He's taught me so much. He's amazing. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to coddle me. But he called me on my birthday at 7:30 a.m. And he said, hey, happy birthday. And there was a card there. And that, call it what it is, but that just, it meant a lot to me that he went out of his day just to call and say, hey man, it's happy birthday. And I was just like, cool. Like, I'm turning 40. I'm a little pissed off, but that's fine. The alternative's worse because you're dead. But like, it was so impactful. It's those little things that he's now starting to do that he realized he has to do because he's old school. Like he's ran the same thing for 40 years, right? And now he realized you have to have that personal touch with people. Like, you know, people just want, and it meant, I'll be honest, I was like, wow, the owner of my brokerage just called, and we're like, we talk, but he still called on my birthday, just to say happy birthday. Then I got a card from him and his wife in my drop file. Like, customer service, guys, is key. And that's how you're going to retain your people. Like, that truly is. And it doesn't take much. You don't have to go spend a bunch of money. You don't have to do anything. It's just ask people how they're doing and how the service is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, great point, man.
Makes sense.
Good stuff. Luke actually just joined us. Luke is one of our, he typically joins at the end to see if there's any bonuses or anything. But he says we call our clients every week. And it's the little things that count.
Yeah, of course. It's big. It's your retention. This is the crazy thing. And I know I'm fucking failing miserably at this because all my past clients, almost all of them, as you can tell, love me. So they come in, but they still don't refer me enough because I don't ask for referrals. I've never been that guy that's been like, hey, but that's something that I'm failing at and I should be. It's hard to hunt new business all the time. Whereas if you just really focused on, you know, the stuff you have and you ruin the stuff you have and make them happy, your referrals will just keep coming. Because trust me, once an agent finds something that works, they will tell the world that's not necessarily in their backyard. But now with social media and people are part of different groups, like imagine as a marketing company, if you get a guy like Kyle Whissel. Kyle Whissel is literally like the holy grail of realtors. He's a really good friend of mine, rated the #1 agent in San Diego from the Wall Street Journal, I think 3 or 4 years in a row. And he just drops knowledge on people. Like he's just, if you ever want to follow a guy that's insane, he's nuts. And when he believes in something, people just go even do it. Yep. Like it doesn't even matter. Like Kyle,
get viral.
It's totally, but I could be like, hey, I'm looking at getting an RV, just making it up. And Kyle would be like, I get this RV. I'm not researching it. I'm not doing anything. I trust that guy with everything because he researches it. And you just go ahead. But imagine as a marketer, if you could get Kyle. So Kyle Whissel promotes a bunch of companies, but he uses them and believes in them. Don't get me wrong. He gets paid for it too, but he won't ever do anything unless he believes in it. And he'll go in and like Ylopo and all these things that he teaches to our group. Like when he's with the Tom Ferry organization, like you have 5,000 agents and you're the Kyle Whissel, which is like one of the most known people in that whole Tom Ferry ecosystem. So if you get in with somebody like that and you make them happy, like he'll pump the shit out of everything. So if you just find a few guys like that, they'll go and tell the world that your stuff works.
Well, I mean, and it's, you know, part of it. I mean, it's part of how I've grown my own agency is through a guy like you.
Yeah.
That's what you've done for us, right? I mean, it's especially on the new construction side of things.
Yeah.
You know, we've done so much new construction. Every single project that comes up there, you know, you either send a referral, we're doing a new project or whatever it is. Right. And I mean, you know, clearly it's tough to scale that way, but it's also a very good way to get clients.
For sure. But imagine if you had, that's the thing though, is if you had 50 of me, like that's all you have, that's all you have to focus on, right? Like that's the thing is that you just have to find 50 people and don't be shy actually. And this is one thing. So when I was trained by this Grant Cardone organization out of Canada, and I got coached. He was really good. I enjoyed it. One thing he was good at though is like, hey man, and he would strike and he's the most well-scripted person I've ever met in my life. but he would strike when the iron was hot, and when somebody's happy, he's like, hey man, is there anybody you can think of, anybody at all that you think could use my services? Because I was so happy with what he did at the time. I was like, yeah, you wonder what? Let me make 2 calls. And I did this. Like, don't be afraid to ask, because a lot of people still don't think to refer you. Like, that's just not part of who they are. Some people,
Well, you know, and that's the other crazy part about it. And we actually talk about this inside of our academy, is that nobody wants to ask, but customers want to give you business.
right.
Happy customers are happy to refer you,
Totally.
but nobody asks for us.
Yeah.
Like, nobody will ask for a referral, right?
But even as marketers, so even if you say like, this would be big, and it motivates people, and sometimes it's not about the money. It's also how you pitch it. So what I've learned in the past for different stuff is it's how you ask for help. So even if you say, hey, look, as an organization, we have X amount of clients. We're looking to double to hit our goal, and we need your help. If you say that, like, naturally, so if Shane calls me tomorrow and he's like, hey man, I need your help, I'm trying to double my business, how many people can you get? I'll be honest, I refer him now. I'm honestly more just thinking about it in my mind. I'm like, who could I refer Shane, just by saying that? Because people naturally, most people want to help people. So if you just phrase it, hey, we have some really great goals. Our past clients are important to us. So you just make it seem like they're so important. Everything is, because they are. And you say, we're looking to double. Like, or whatever your goal is, we need your help. Can you help us commit to this goal? Do you know of anybody? I promise you, your phone will light up like a Christmas tree, because people naturally want to help, but they won't think to refer you. It's too, do you know what I mean? It's like a different mindset. It's like, oh, I'll help you. Refer you? I guess I would, but I would totally help you.
It's cool, man.
Good wording.
Yeah, for sure.
Language.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw a couple questions pop up, Matt.
Yeah.
And then let's get into some of the stuff that you're working on right now. I know we're hitting 9:30. You've got another show to do after this here.
I'll dive into these fast. We'll go lightning round.
All right, sounds good.
Leads that are 3 to 6 months out from buying, they're not pre-approved, but have a solid intent to buy or sell. How do you follow up with those leads?
You don't? No, you do. I don't know, 3 to 6 months. I think that you find that I'm like a child on the phone. Why? Like, I don't ask why, but I ask questions. It's like, okay, yeah, 3 to 6 months. What's holding you back from buying today? Oh, well, you want to know what? We don't have the down payment. So if you could get the down payment, would you consider buying right away? Yeah, actually, well, I would. I'm like, well, have you considered asking a loved one, because you can get a gifted down payment? No, actually, I didn't know you could do that. Boom, they go from 3 to 6 months to right now. So it's like, but if they're like, no, you want to know what? And then if they say, no, I don't have anybody, you know what I mean? And I'm saving for down payment. Great. How long do you think it'll take you to save a down payment? Realistically, I know I said 3 to 6 months. It's probably more like a year. You can tell them to beat it. Like, just being honest. Like, I might follow up with them every 3 months. I'll be like, you want to know what? I'll follow up with you every 3 months. I'll touch base with somebody 4 times a year in hopes of getting them. No problem. But I'm not calling them every day. I'm not calling them more than I should. When I leave the phone call, most of the time, if I'm not mentally there to make calls, but if I'm on point, I'm comfortable after that phone call that they've lied to me, but the information they've given me, I can decide what I'm going to do with them. Mm-hmm. So 3 to 6 months can be anything. My favorite one that I get people to buy all the time. Well, my lease is up at the end of December. Okay, no problem. So your lease is up at the end of December. So what if I could find you, Jim? And then I've already asked them if they have a down payment, they're working. Well, yeah, but I just don't want to break my lease. I'm like, okay, well, how much would it cost you to break your lease? $1,500. I'm like, all right. So let's say we find you a house in the next 60 days. Okay. We find your house in the next 60 days and you're in. You still have 4 months left. You're basically setting that money on fire because you're paying your landlord's mortgage and not your own. So you may lose your $1,500. I said, but all your rent and all your mortgage that you're paying for those 4 months is going against your principal. You're putting that in your pocket. And if I can get you $15,000 off a house that you're looking at, you're $15,000 ahead of the next person, plus you're paying off your mortgage. Why wouldn't you want to break your lease? Fucking crickets. Why wouldn't you want to break your lease? Mm-hmm. Who cares if it's $1,500? And I'll tell a lot of people, like, hey, look, you want to know what? Just ask your landlord. Say you want to buy. Tell him you'll give him 90 days notice. Oh, I've never really thought of that. So it's really qualifying the lead. If they haven't said they have the down payment, they're not working, I'm not using that script. I'm not going down that road. There's no point, right? It's, yes, I have my down payment. Yes, I'm working. you know what, but I'm really high. I'm really caught up on losing my deposit. It's surprising when people are caught up, but they're first-time home buyers in that case most of the time. They're not educated enough to know that you can put that equity into your own genes.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
makes sense.
Let's see here. Where's the next question? What do you consider your number one reason for achieving your level of success as a brokerage owner?
Okay, so for the record, I don't own a brokerage. I run a team. My number one success, and this is something that I wish agents would do. So I'll give you an idea. So I had my best month I've ever had in May, right basically as COVID was coming out. I sold 16 houses myself. That's a lot, right? Like the average agent sells, across North America, sells 4 a year according to statistics. I sold 16 that month, then 7, then I think I'm at 9 in July. So I almost sold 40 houses or 35 houses in 3 months, which is honestly a ton.
Yeah.
I wake up every single fucking morning as if I have nothing in the pipeline. The biggest mistake my agents make on my team is like, I had a 6 month, I can sit back and coast. Well, you just did back-to-back goose eggs, you idiot, because you were lazy. So one of the things is I have natural discipline that, again, is a gift or a curse. It depends how you look at it, because I work 15 hours a day, right? So it's like you sit there, it's like I'm never satisfied. It's like, I want to make $1 million. Okay, well, I hit that. Well, I want to make 2 million. So, you know, a book that I'm reading now is What Got You Here Won't Get You There. So I remember whenever I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to tell the story. It's not boastful. It's just true. I wanted to make $500,000. It's like, I want to make 500 grand. This was like 9 years ago or 8 years ago, probably my third year in real estate. Then I made 480 and I made 490. And I'm like, fuck, I can't hit 500. I'm like, fuck this. I want to make $1 million. Well, the next year I made 850. I failed miserably and made 850 because the actions of a $500,000 producer aren't the same as $1 million. Just like a 50,000 isn't the same as 200. Set your goals high, try to achieve them, fail miserably. I'd rather my goal be 200,000 and make 100 than my goal be 50 and hit my goal. So you have to wake up every day. I wake up every day. Like I literally have 20 buyers right now, but I'm waking up tomorrow like I have none. And that scares the shit out of me every day. So it gets me on the phone. So the number one thing to do is wake up as if you have nothing in the pipeline ever, because it's a scary feeling.
Love it. Let's see the show up rates and how many attendees on these seminars you're doing online. I think we're going to get to that in a second, right, Shane?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Dylan says, what's your ROI on Facebook ads?
I'm not organized enough to know that shit.
Don't worry. What was so impressive about the onboarding with this recent company that you did like?
Okay. Honestly, it wasn't that they were so good. It's that they weren't so shitty, because everybody had been so shitty that they were just normal. Like they literally didn't do anything that blew my socks off. It's just I had 13 or 14 bad experiences. So this one was just like, they did what they kind of did what they said. And like, I booked an hour of my day. Again, everybody's busy, but if I booked an hour and you cut me off at half an hour and you still haven't explained it to me and I have to rebook with you, holy, that is not good. And that's how they started. But then they kind of made up. It's just do what you say you're going to do. That's pretty much it. And lay it down. It's like, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to go. If you can do that and offer that great experience, that's literally all I was looking for, is just honor what you're saying. That was it. And they did most of it very, like pretty well.
I've always said with real estate, or a couple people I know said with real estate, if you just do your job, not great, but if you just do it, you'll exceed 95% of the other people in the market.
That's what, look at the numbers. I've tried so many different companies. This is the only one that just did what they said. And they didn't execute perfectly, but so much better than anybody else. That I was just so happy. I'm like, you just got back to me and you said you would. I was just like, oh my God. And it sounds so simple, but again, with all these new marketing lead gen companies that are starting up, and I understand it's a challenge when you're starting up because you're trying to figure out your systems. Just take on 10 clients, really hyper focus on that, nail it down, go to the 20, go to the 30. Because I know people are so focused, like, I'm going to make millions and I'm going to have 50 clients. You're going to have none by the end of it if you don't get your shit together.
Yeah. Well, and Joe says marketers seem scared that there will be problems, but in reality, bad news doesn't get any better with time.
For sure. But the other thing is it's okay. Like, I don't mind problems. Just fix them. I'm not saying I don't know. I have tons of problems in my business. It's how you fix them. It's if you take 2 weeks to get back to me, I'm getting leads every single day and I don't even know how to follow up and you haven't explained the CRM to me, it's going to be a problem because now I'm blowing my money on this ad spend. I don't even know what to do. It's just, and how you handle the problems. Like most people are going to be good. Like I'm actually fairly, believe it or not, I'm fairly reasonable. Like I just call them like, hey, what's going on here? Okay, we'll call you back tomorrow. No problem. Like the company that I was just talking about, yep, we'll get everything fixed for you tomorrow. 14 days later, nothing's fixed. That's not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just and if it's 3 days, then say it's 3 days. Don't tell somebody 24 hours if you know it's not going to happen, because that's going to piss me off. But 3 days doesn't piss me off because I'm like, then it's out of my mind. So as a team leader, I'm like, hey, this garbage is gone for 3 days. I can start worrying about it in 3 days. Whereas just be honest with people. Like just be like, hey, you want to know what? We're bogged down. I'll be completely honest with you. Business is going crazy. No problem. Wait, when can you get it done? You know what? We'll get it to you done in 48 hours instead of our 24. I am completely fine with that. I want your business to grow if it's working. I'm fine. Just don't tell me it's 24 and then it's longer than that because that drives me bananas.
It makes sense. Dylan says, I talked to a team leader today, wants to sell an additional 225 homes a year, currently selling 425. So pretty substantial increase.
That's awesome.
Is that possible with a $250,000 investment?
Oh, yeah. Like $250,000 investment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me hear this straight. A $250,000 investment in lead gen?
Sorry, I'm going to be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
I'm assuming he means in lead gen.
It's
Basically, can we get him another 225 closings for 250,000?
Not if not if the system's not figured out. No, like he'll fail miserably. That amount of lead gen is out of control. Like there's no way. He'll just blow money and you will piss that guy off. I think you tell him the slow growth model is good. It's like, okay, that's great. You have a $20,000 a month budget. Let's do $5,000 because that's what Shane and I are doing with. This new companies that I referred to him. They have a $17,000 month budget, but that $17,000 was getting him 200 leads a month. I shit you not, until they met me. I'm like, that's stupid. Now Shane's going to get him a shit ton. But now we have these people that are used to getting 200. We're going to get them 500 or 600 for the same amount of money. So if we go right to 17,000, you set the whole thing on fire.
Yeah, it's going to shock the system.
That's great that that's his goal, and I can appreciate that. If that's going to be his goal, is have the first month, get your shit tight, double it the next month, and then get to where you want to be. Just don't come out of the gates that way because you'll lose that client 100%. Like if somebody came to me and I did that, I know I'm not systematic enough to have that kind of growth. We don't sell quite that volume, and I don't have that many agents, I'm assuming. But he has to make sure his agents are all dialed in. There has to be scripts. There has to be times when they have to call. If they don't call within 5 minutes, then it goes to somebody else. Like it's a whole different bag of fucking tricks if you're doing that, for sure.
No.
And if they've never done lead gen, then it's a whole, then that's different because some guys do 300-400 just from geo farming and different stuff. So if they've never done lead gen, you really got to take baby steps with that client.
Yeah, no, 100%. Pat Chiarello says, hey, legends. Hey, Brad. Love you. The home buyer seminar at the wrong location was epic. You're in the best hands with Shane.
True.
Let's see here. Map out the numbers. How many leads do you need to get a home sold on average? And then X what your leads cost by 200. Okay, I think he's answering to somebody else. Okay, sorry about that.
No.
Well said. 500 total, 250,000 in marketing. Okay. I don't want to break the systems. I just want to get him where he wants to go. Do I need multiple channels to hit it? Direct mail, email, Google, etc. Yeah, I mean it sounds like
if he has a $250,000 budget, here's the thing for marketing. So, but if he wants to do even if he wants to geo farm, it's great. But then what you want to do to geo farm is you geo farm one location of it literally, and then you have like a tag, and then you have like an orange thing, and then the blue one, you have a blue, and then they go to like different websites. You can actually, when you're geo farm, you're actually supposed to do it like you do Facebook. I'm assuming this is how you guys do it, is which ad works better. So you geo farm an area for like 3 or 4 months and see which communication, which one's better, and have a different call to action so you can see how many more leads you're getting from it. It's the same thing when you're geo farming. Is you literally treat a geo farm like you do Facebook ads. Like, hey, this one isn't working. This one's working better. Okay, now I'm going to take this one and do it over here. Now I'm going to try a different version. So you still do that with geo farming too. And then some people do like postcards, direct mail, like expireds. There's so much different stuff. That guy can hit it. 20K a month that's a lot in just lead gen. So I would make that a part of it. But again, if this person isn't systematic and the leads aren't coming in and dealt with right, you're still going to light this person's money on fire no matter how you do it. This person has to be extremely systematic for that kind of budget, for how the leads go, where they go to, what the follow-up is, what the buyer process is, the seller process. So that definitely has to be nailed down. But if he's doing that kind of volume, he's probably pretty dialed in, he or she.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right, we are caught up on questions.
Awesome. Well, hey, listen, I know, Brad, you've got some time restrictions because you got something else going on after this. Again, really appreciate you coming on here. Let's talk a little bit about what's actually working for you, because, I think this is something that's overlooked. I think this is something that none of us are doing enough of. And it's something that's kind of been a little bit recent for you. And I say recent because, we've been working together for the past, 4 years or so. And it's something Matt and I have talked a lot about what's been working. Tell us a little bit about what's actually working for you right now and what's really successful.
Besides your leads?
Besides some leads, yeah. Besides what we're doing in terms of lead generation, yeah.
So the number one thing that I've done is honestly Zoom seminars. And I know that, so I actually had a mortgage broker reach out to me, and we do first-time home buyers seminars. The tagline is something like $50,000 worth of mistakes that you're going to make if you're a first-time home buyer. It's like, holy shit, like I better go on to this. So we've had as little as 15 people in the group to as high as 40. Our signups are like, we have 45 tonight. We have about 50% of the people at show. It's pretty much standard. And then we have about a 90% retention rate for the whole hour. So it's been good. And then what happens is the way my mortgage broker has it, which is great. He has it set up. He gets the leads, they come in. We do a presentation very similar to this, except it's just about first-time home buyers' mistakes. And at the end, there's a call to action to say, hey, so as marketers, if you can figure this out, get the leads for the agent, it's huge. Like, it's really big. And it's all about the follow-up. Again, I talked earlier about the guy in Edmonton. He's closed 9, I've closed 15. Mm-hmm. We're doing the same thing. So it's still about the follow-up. So you come in, we have a whole follow-up system. They come in to follow up us. My mortgage broker will go in. At the end, he basically says, hey, when it's done, he's like, it's called meetjosh.ca. Sign up for your free 30-minute consultation. So a lot of people sign up from the consultation. They get it all in. Then what he does, he follows up with them. He gets them pre-approved. The people that don't do the consultation, so let's say that there's 10 people that sign up and there's 20 people on the call, it's my job to call those 20 people then. So I call those 20 people to be like, hey, what's going on? A lot of people like, yeah, I was busy or I'm not sure. And then so I have to follow up with them. So there's nothing that gets between the cracks. And then we kind of see that. And, that's how I had my 16 month. And it's been since March. We started them. So we used to do them live in person. I'll fucking never do that again. Because it's like wintertime in Calgary. It's like, do people show? The weather sucks. It's Zoom. You log on at 7:30. And at 7:35, we're up and going. And then I'm there for an hour and a half, depending on how it goes. So it's been uber successful. And it's all through Facebook ads. So it's all done on Facebook. They come in, they sign up, then it goes through Eventbrite. Then Eventbrite comes in, and I don't understand how all that shit works. I literally am like this. I show up for literally an hour, and then I fuck off and go make calls for them the next couple of days. But the way our system's really, 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 we started off and it wasn't good. There was no accountability. And now my mortgage broker talk every month. We go through each lead. It's like, did you call this person like you said you would? Oh, I forgot. So it's like we're making more money because of the accountability piece. Like, a lot of people think that accountability is like, it's bad or something. Like, accountability is like the biggest form of love you can have. Like, if you have a spouse, you have something, and if you're supposed to wake up at 7 and go to the gym, they're like, why aren't you at the gym? And you get all pissed off with them. It's because they love you, dumbass. You said you were going to do something. Honor your own commitment to yourself and go to the fucking gym at 7. So if somebody's trying to hold you accountable, it's actually people don't understand. It's like one of the biggest forms of love because somebody's trying to help you get your goals. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing that we've had is like literally with this lead gen, like with this stuff we're doing is with my mortgage broker is we literally we hold each other accountable all the time. I call him out. He's like, thanks, man. But we've made so much more money from it. Our numbers are at like doubling because we were closing some at the beginning. We're like, leads suck. And I'm the fucking first guy to say this. Remember, I'm like, oh, the lead sucks. No, you suck. So then I had to look in the mirror and be like, well, how much effort are you putting into calling these leads? And I didn't do any follow-up. I just relied on him to do it, where then there was like 80% of the people don't 78% of people don't sign up for that. Well, so what? You're not supposed to call those people just because they didn't sign up. So again, it was all in the follow-up. And now that we're both going after it, and we have a shared follow-up boss account. So if I'm like, hey, Josh, did you get a post? I tag him in it. Then he's like, okay, thanks. I'll follow up. So we see all the notes for each other. So it's like, we're not perfect yet, but it's really, really, really good. It's probably one of the best things I've done in my career, for sure.
And then are you signing buyer agency agreements like DocuSign right there on Zoom?
No, it's so like, you can't. It's so hard. I shouldn't say you can't. Actually, I came up with a super genius idea, and people are probably clueless to it. Is you basically say like, hey, you have to sign this BA because now of COVID, we have to come in. Everybody has to know where we've been. So people like, we're starting to get BAs just from that alone. People like, that makes sense. It's like, okay, try it. Like, whatever, right? So you just kind of adapt. But no, we haven't done that yet. And I've been burnt, to be honest. I probably lost, honestly, in the last 4 weeks, I've probably lost 75 grand, to be honest with you, because I didn't get people under BA. But it's just been, it's been like, took him to a new build. He backed out. Like, there's just, I can make so many excuses. At the end of the day, I just got to stop being a pussy and just getting people under BA.
And I think the other thing too is you got to try stuff, right?
For sure.
So, and the reality, we did this investor seminar last night, and we actually had people leave deposits, right? So unfortunately they failed,
Right.
but we actually had only because of Zoom, right? But the crazy part about it is that we didn't think it actually worked, but somebody actually bought a house on a webinar, which is insane to think for us, right? But we never know. You never know that this could actually happen unless you try it, right? So, with these home buyer events, if you don't try it and it, you'll never know, right? And then start perfecting it and then trying to, make it better and better and better so you can close more deals.
Well, look at ours last time, right? We never put it on. You came up with this concept of, you're like, I did Zoom seminars buyers. You're like, do it for Toronto investors. I'm like, I remember I was like, you're a fucking genius. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, yeah, let's try this. And then like, I don't know how the hell you got all the people there, but then, because we were both like, are people going to show?
I don't know either.
Yeah, well, they showed up. But they showed up, right?
They showed up, yeah.
They showed up, but we talked about it. We're like, okay, I think we had 48 or 47 people that signed up with good phone numbers, and we had over half. And I've never run a Zoom. Like, I've been part of many Zoom seminars, but I never run one. I didn't know you can't see how many people were on. So like Shane probably only thought he was the only person on, but we actually had, at one point we had 26 people show up, and all 26 stayed until my internet glitched. So I had the whole group for the whole 35 minutes or whatever about it. So there was 25 potential investors that want to invest in Calgary. So tomorrow, now that we have, I'm going to call them all, even the people that didn't sign up, and just give them more information. So Zoom, guys, it's the best. But the thing is that for all you marketers out there, if you can really figure it out, that's the next wave of where I believe that's going to be the future. It's like investor seminars and, how to list your house and save $10,000. Like, there's just so many different things you can do. And now, because Zoom and COVID, I think that the agents that are literally doing this, and I'm literally the only agent in the city that I know that I'm doing this, and it'll probably get around. But now what I'm doing, though, is, you want to talk about a scalability thing, is that now I'm doing it with, like, Shane's going to do it with a different person on my team and a different mortgage broker, and then another person on my team and a different mortgage broker. So now I'm scaling this on my team, this concept of doing these first-time home buyer seminars where I can make more money and the team can make more money because of this concept. Mm-hmm. So it's been amazing.
No, that's awesome. It's such a cool thing. I mean, the idea of selling a house on a webinar, right? But I mean, Tony Robbins just did his giant seminar thing, whatever it is, Unleash the Power or something like that. He just did that on Zoom with, like, I don't know how many thousands of people.
I went to Tony Robbins' UPW in San Jose, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. Yeah. So if anybody can do that, it's a game changer. It's awesome. So, like, that's the thing, is that read a book a week if you can. Do personal growth. Like, if you're not growing, like, you're dying. So, the knowledge that I have is not because it's just fucking smacked me in the face with it. Is you got to go look for it. You got to make mistakes. So many hundreds of thousands of dollars I've lost. So many. I invest in a restaurant. Fucking idiot. Like, who does that? Like, I might as well lit a fucking Ferrari on fire. Yeah. So it's like, here, would you rather drop $250,000 into a restaurant that's probably has a 90% fail rate, or would you rather set a Ferrari on fire? The truth is, looking back, and it's a cooler story to light a Ferrari on fire, right? So, like, but I don't. But it doesn't deter me from where I'm at. Like I've spent probably a few hundred, probably a few $100,000 on internet stuff that hasn't worked, but the money I've made is so much more. And the stuff I've learned, and now you're just so much I'm so much closer to where I want to be. Like I'm here now, I want to get to here, but I know that when I get to here, I'm going to want to fucking get to here. And again, that book that I'm reading now, what gets you here won't get you there. It's the same concept as, okay, great. If you're super motivated, you got to get to here. Once you're there, what's next? And I'm never satisfied. It's like, I always want more.
Yeah.
And what's, I think one of the things we need to remember is the fact that not everybody's like you.
Totally.
But right, that's the other reality of it, right? Because it is, as marketers and as agency owners that are working with real estate agents, those agents are not necessarily like you. Right.
No, and they're not, and that's what my agents say on my team. They're like, oh, here's Brad selling 20 houses again. And it's like, that's fine, but go do your version of you. So for the marketers that are trying to get the quote unquote, let's say average agent, it's just coming up with a realistic budget. It's saying, hey, whatever works for $1,000 a month, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever your number is, you're guaranteed to close at least 5 a year. And then do a chart and have an ROI. Like if people can't understand that, they're probably not the clients you want anyways. It's just say, this is what you're paying. This is what you're going to make. Right. And that's all people should care about, except for the stories I told, is how much money you're going to make. I can't stress enough, and Shane, I know we have so much going on, and I am excited is that even if it's not me, I don't care if it's me because I don't have anything ready. Try to affiliate with somebody that's going to train your agents on how to call, or if you want to take it to the next level, literally hire somebody that if you want to go to the next level for your marketing, even if it's not getting a coach, hire somebody that is going to do at least a 2-hour training on how they're supposed to follow up their leads, how they're supposed to call, how they're supposed to input them. And then for the first 8 weeks, have a 30-minute session on Mondays at 9 to go over all their leads to make sure there's some accountability. There, I just solved your problem. Seriously.
Oh man. It's true though.
But that is it. Is if you just, like your customer service person, is if you have somebody who's never done leads, it's going to be terrifying for them. They're going to call to and think it sucks. If you have an accountability aspect, basically it's like what I've done. And, like Shane, you could say, hey, it's $1,500 a month. But if you're on all these calls every week, kind of like Shane, what we talked about, if you're on all these calls every week for 4 weeks, it's only $1,000. It's really only $1,000. That's what you want anyways. But then they have to be on that accountability thing with you. You have to see, making sure they follow up with their leads, because their success will lead to your success.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. It's less expensive if you make it to all the coaching calls.
Mm-hmm.
People pay attention when they pay money.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Absolutely. Dylan asks, what's your approximate conversion rate for Facebook ads? I think we answered this, which was, I'm not organized enough. I don't know.
No, fuck, I have no idea. It fluctuates too, because like Shane and I got 1,500 leads and I was crushing through them and they sucked and I barely closed any. And now these ones I'm closing more. So I really do think it's the kind of lead that you get too. Honestly, it really does. Some people like a lead's a lead. It's not. You're full of shit. That's not the truth at all. I've been doing it for 8-9 years. It's not. It's if you get better quality leads, you'll have better conversions. And the leads I'm getting now, I will have the best conversions of. I'm 100% sure. So,
it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple months too, right? Because we've tested a lot in the past 3 months, or 3 years, just different things, right? And we're still kind of testing things out because we've got different projects going on with you. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what ends up happening over the next 6 months, to actually see what's working, what's not working. But I think one of the big things with you is that the product is good. We talk about this a lot inside of our academy, inside of the coaching and stuff like that. The offer makes a huge difference, right? Yeah. You have good products. Yeah. You have brand new single listing homes under $400,000.
And that are $30,000 off, and people
that are $30,000 off. Exactly. Yeah. Right. You have brand new townhouses and brand new condos for $200,000. Right. So the offer makes a big difference in what we're doing with you.
I think the truth is, just find something that is good. And the honest truth is, even if it's not, fucking lie about it. I don't give a shit. It's your job to convert. I swear to you, when I started in real estate, when Kijiji first started, This is like 10 years ago. Kijiji was nothing. I made many six figures from Kijiji because I could post for free, and I would post fake foreclosure lists. And I'd say, get on my free foreclosure list and blah, blah, blah. I don't have a fucking foreclosure list. Are you kidding me? But people thought I did, and I could set them up on MLS on a little foreclosure thing. So it's not a lie. I'm bending the truth. I literally had people come in, and in order to get my foreclosure list, which is fine, it's just an MLS search of foreclosures, which is true. It's exclusive to everyone ever.
There's like one foreclosure every year.
Yeah, but right. Well, in Toronto, probably here, that's a major part of my business was actually foreclosures because we had a shit ton, right? But we at that time, I did have some. What gave me the idea is because I was getting Genworth foreclosures because Alberta was foreclosing left, right, and center, right? So they got this list, and then I signed so many people under buyer's agreement because in order for them to get the list, they'd have to be under BA. So I get them to come and meet me. It's a total bait and switch. Is it shady? No, because I can set you up on that search, but I convinced them that even in foreclosures, that wasn't the best. Do you know that out of the, I don't know how many I did that year, probably 60 or 70 that I've sold on foreclosure lists, I only sold one. So if I didn't have that concept, that's 59, just one out of all the people that came to me asking for foreclosures. 59 of the 60 bought a normal house.
Yeah.
So it's all in making the phone ring and your ability to be able to convert them into something else. It's just like an open house. I love open houses. I'm not trying to fucking sell the house that's in there because I have a 1% chance. I'm trying to sell them something else that's down the street.
Brad, it's been a pleasure.
I should go. It's been 2 hours and probably
absolutely
another 2 hours. I got to get on in 10 minutes. I got to go shower my shame and anger off of me and then do my hair in 11 minutes so I can be on the snack.
Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, before the show, you kind of, it's like, what do we talk about? I'm like, we'll just talk, right? And it just goes on for 2 hours, right? Incredible information, so much value and just insight into like, you know, what it's like on your side of, you know, like from the agent's perspective, right? For everybody that's watching, thank you so much for watching. We're at 10 o'clock exactly right now. Guys, if you've enjoyed the show, if you've stuck around the entire time, you know what to do. Hashtag Super Trooper. Let us know that you've been here for the whole time. Brad, you know, really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
thank
man.
you so much.
I'll call you after my first time samurai here. Like we planned anyway.
Is that what we're doing tonight? We're hanging out?
Yeah, I'm going to call. We got to go over the leads yesterday. So I got to get at that CRM
Absolutely.
stuff. Remember customer service? Even if I don't pay you, we still got to do that CRM thing that's going on.
Okay, so it's going to be midnight here. That's what I do, right?
Yeah, it's fine. We've had many conversations when it's 2 a.m. your time.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, everybody that's watching, tuning in to Whiskey Thursday, thank you so much for coming on. Again, hashtag Super Trooper. Let us know you're watching. If you're tuning in from I can barely talk. Tuning in from YouTube, make sure to come join us in the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. We're here doing Whiskey Thursday every Thursday at 8 p.m. with my partner here, Matt Kramer. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a good time. Any parting words, Brad?
Honestly, guys, the biggest advice I can give to anybody that's doing this is honestly customer service, and wake up every day. Even if you have a killer month, like go have another killer month, have a better month each time. Just don't settle if that's what you want. Again, that's not for everybody. If you're happy at 2 deals a month, then do your 2 deals and stick at your 2 deals. But, you know, full disclosure, like I see a therapist every 2 weeks. Like I can't do this on my own. Like the job is stressful. And I think that mental health is something that's not talked about enough in all of our industries as entrepreneurs. Is, you know, the fucking roller coaster you're on is insane. So my parting words are for mental health. If you need help, seek it. There's a lot of stuff out there. So I'm not shy. Every time that somebody tries to book an appointment to me, it's my therapist. I don't care if it's the Pope. I'm like, I can't. I see my therapist. And I've had some pretty profound conversations just by being honest with people and say, you see a therapist? It's like, yeah. Like, you see how fucking crazy I am? Of course I have to see a therapist. Like, no. So, you know what? Wake up every morning, be proud of what you do. And the number one thing is make sure you take care of yourself. Because if you notice, your biggest failures in life have been when you weren't taking care of yourself. I've rarely seen a person that, you know, is taking care of themselves, you know, food-wise, nutrition-wise, loving on themselves, that is like, oh, I can't figure it out and I can't. It just rarely happens. So love yourself before you can love others. And that's what I got for you for tonight.
Love it. With that, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week.
Stick around, Brad.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Later.
Oh, he took off. Recording.